Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, Season 12, Episode 45, overall 650 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership. Our friends are located at 905 Woodlawn Row West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com, for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric vehicles and Cadillac vehicles as well. You can call the dealership at 519-824-0210 and tell them CDP Chris Palme sent you, or you can email them at info@barrycullen.com. Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been family run and operated here in the city of Guelph since 1969. And right now, with winter here and you're looking for winter tires, check out the sales department at Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership. Greg Smith or Sarah Higgins, they can help assist you with your winter tire needs as well. And also with winter being here and the cold temperatures, the cold temps can be hard on your battery. Go to Barry Cullen Chevrolet right now and they can do a free 12-volt battery check test. And if you happen to need a new battery, they will give you a $20 rebate as well. More details at barrycullen.com. I hope everyone's doing well on this snowy Friday, January 16th, 2026, here in Southern Ontario. Looking forward to my guest tonight. This is his first appearance on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, but I've had the pleasure of interviewing him in the Toronto Argonauts locker room this summer. He is a good guy. He is one of the hardest workers I've seen on the Toronto Argonauts. Wide receiver, number 83, David Ungerer, is going to be your guest tonight from the 19-time CFL Grey Cup champion, Toronto Argonauts. Good evening, David. How are you?
Doing great, Chris. How are you doing?
I am doing well. I had to give you a little applause there. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on here tonight as well.
No, I appreciate the opportunity. I've been looking forward to this for a while.
And I got to say thanks to Chris Belinovich. Even though Chris is a Notre Dame fan and a Green Bay Packers fan, sorry, Chris, your teams are having a good luck. Chris has been nice enough to help arrange this. So thank you so much to Chris Belinovich. And Dave, how are you and your family doing? And how was your holiday and Christmas this year?
Everything's going great, Chris. Holidays, as I'm sure it is for everybody, it was crazy. It was my little girl's first Christmas, so she was getting spoiled like none other. And, New Year was great, especially re-signing with the Argos on New Year's Eve. That was a great way to bring in the new year. And, now we're just getting ready to have a great 2026.
Now, Santa was good to your daughter. Did she get her any Argos gear too?
Oh, of course. Of course. Got a bunch of Argos stuff, balls, instruments, clothes, you name it, she got it. So that's the way it should be.
And as for the Argos, congratulations on re-signing with the team. This will be your fourth year with Toronto.
Yes, it will. Yep. I'm very happy to be back with the team, and we're going to chase that cup again. So I'm looking forward to it.
And as for the off season, there really isn't an off season for professional athletes. I imagine you're keeping yourself in good shape and preparing for training camp, which I think will be back in Guelph in May, which isn't that far away.
Yeah, no, it's depending on how you look at it, it seems far away, or it seems right around the corner. So I took we got done, what was it, like mid-October, so I took like a good month off before I really did anything. Just took some time to just be a dad and let the body recover a little bit, and fully back into preparing for the season again. And like you said, that's a never-ending thing. So just right back in the swing of things, and just looking forward to May getting here so we can start the season.
And as for I do freelance media coverage for you guys, but I also have a season ticket, so I definitely renewed my season ticket. So I like to
Awesome.
come to the game as a season ticket holder, but I love coming as media, so I get to be a fan and a media at the same time, and I just love the atmosphere down there. And everybody with the organization treats me like I'm a part of the organization too.
Yeah, no, it's always a great experience, being at BMO for game day. And, unfortunately, this year we're going to be a little delayed with that, not getting to play there until August. But I think it'll be well worth the wait. I've been down at the stadium training and stuff, and just seeing what they're doing to it for the cup, and for the years going forward. It looks like it's going to look amazing and be really fun for the fans to go experience a game there. So, and then it's going to be obviously really fun to play in that atmosphere as it always is. So definitely looking forward to August.
And also having Chad Kelly back too. I know Nick Arbuckle had a great year last year with you guys, but it'll be nice to have Chad Kelly, number 12, back behind center too.
Yeah, no, it's obviously so exciting that he's back, and being with him all last year and seeing the journey he was going through to try to get back healthy, and how important it was to try to be back for last year. And just things may not have necessarily went the way that he thought it was going to, but I think in the long run he'll be better off for taking the year to get really healthy. And we even got to see at the swing of the end of last year, he was practicing some, and you could see like his mobility was coming back, and even when he wasn't 100% mobile, he was still slinging it. It was still Chad Kelly. So, it's super exciting to know that he's going to be 100% healthy going into this year, and hopefully we get right back to where we left off. What in 2024?
2024.
Yeah.
I believe so too. Just like my Philadelphia Eagles, they obviously were eliminated last week. But you know what? I trust the owner, Howie Roseman, Nick Serrani, the organization. It's a step back, and I trust them. And I'm confident this Argonaut team will be a contender in the East next year as well.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. That's what we're going to work towards, and it's always the goal is to win the East and win the Cup. So, I'm sure that's what everybody, a part of the Argos organization right now, is working towards.
Dave, I want to ask you this too. Winning the Grey Cup, last year you guys had a target on your backs. It is really hard to stay on top when you're the champion. Just your thoughts on when you came to Toronto in 2023, falling short to Montreal, and then 24 you won it all, and then just last year, just things never worked out for the whole year.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just think that's kind of how the season. That's football. That's professional sports, and it's like I could look back at my all 3 years I've been here with the Argos, and like give reasons why we should have won all three Grey Cups. And or you could look at it from a different perspective and be like, man, we're lucky that we won one in that 3 year stretch. It's just it's as much of a game it is of preparation and execution. There's also some luck thrown in there too, always. So 2023 we got a bit unlucky and had a great team, and but it definitely gave us some motivation going into 2024. And uh and then for the 2024 season to go the way it did, and just kind of like we found a way in that last stretch of the season to play our best ball. And that's really what it comes down to a lot of times. You see it in the NFL too. A lot of times the best team may not necessarily end up the champion that year. It's about who's playing the best at the end of the year. And uh you know that's kind of what we had in 2024. And then 2025 is just kind of like almost the opposite. Like all the games that we were able to find a way to win in the end in 2024, like it just wouldn't go our way in 2025. And you're looking at the record, and it's like, ah, dang, we're 5-13 at the end of it. We could have easily been 13-5. It's just that's just how it goes sometimes. So
It's a humbling game. It's a humbling game.
it sure is. It sure is. Always very humbling.
Dave, I want to ask you this as a professional football player with the Argonauts. Playing on that grass field, do you find that it gives you guys an advantage over the other teams? Because I know all the other teams in the league have turf, but do you find grass is much easier to play on than the artificial turf?
I definitely think it gives us an advantage, 100% on like you saw the perfect example of it was the Winnipeg game this year. Like when it rains the night before the day of, I think it definitely gives us an advantage, because we have the proper footwear, made for the grass, and like when it gets wet out there, it becomes a real problem. I don't think it's necessarily that big of a uh, factor when it's great weather. It's pretty even when it comes to that, but we still, another thing too is we don't practice at BMO. It's not like we practice at BMO every day, so like that might give us a more of an advantage if we did that. But, we're at BMO only for game days for the majority of the season. So it's a little bit different of a dynamic when it comes to that, but I definitely think that there are times where we have the advantage with the grass. And, I think the other thing too is just like everything that goes on around BMO during the season. You got the NASCAR races, you got, especially when the CNE comes, there's concerts, you know, um performances, all sorts of things going on during the city, so it can be very distracting. So I think there's uh, home field advantage on the field and outside of the field for the Argos for sure.
Dave, can you just tell us a little bit about how you founded the QEW football camp with Ty from the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and just tell our audience what about the QE football camp involves, and how people can sign up, or athletes can sign up for this?
Yeah, I mean, well, first, we started our business, QEW football. It's we're dedicating our business to becoming the premier skill development business in Canada for football. We want to be able to provide that resource for amateur athletes around here, college athletes, or whoever wants to get better at football. We want to be able to provide that skill development resource for you. So it's something that Ty and I, we've been best friends since we played in Hamilton together. And it's something we've talked about over the years, and it just felt like this was the perfect timing for us to start the business. And so far we've been in business for about a month and a half, and it's gone very, very well. And him being a Hamilton guy, me having my history I've built here in this area, we've been able to put together some good sessions for kids, and get to experience being around flag football and tackle football, all sorts of every form of football there is. And as far as the camp that you're referring to, we have a big camp, PA Day camp for the kids in Hamilton on next Friday, the 23rd, from 1 to 4. It's just for all the kids who are off of school and want to get better at football, or just have fun with their day off. We're just trying to provide an opportunity for kids to have fun, and experience what a high level football practice may look like. And but also add in some competition and fun periods for the kids. So uh yeah, we're that's a big, probably our biggest uh biggest event to date. And then we're also on the 25th having a big session for all the elite amateur players around the area, high school to college kids that, want to come and get better. We're going to have 20 quarterbacks, uh, you know, 30 receivers, 30 DBs. Like, it's going to be a big session of all the best kids in the area. So there's a lot of good things going on for the business right now, and I'm excited about it. And, hoping that, over the time we can really provide great coaching and great resources for the kids here so that they can keep developing their games.
How would you describe yourself as a coach teacher, Dave?
Um uh I think I could be fiery. I'm a bit like my dad, a little bit. I can have a short fuse, especially with the older kids. It's a little different. It's kind of funny. We've so far in our sessions, we have young kids and older kids. And, uh, I think I've naturally gravitated towards the older kids as Ty's gravitated towards the younger kids. And I think it hasn't happened for no reason. I think I'm a little bit better with the older kids, and like, I don't think I can really yell at the younger kids like I do with the older kids. So, uh, it's good that Ty's more of a nice, easygoing coach. So, um, yeah. But I would like to think that I'm helping the kids and able to break down coaching fundamentals properly, and that they're able to get something out of it. That's at least what I hope for.
Are you guys going to have some guests from like the Tiger Cats or Argonauts come into your camp as well, periodically?
Yeah, absolutely. Like as time goes on, we definitely want to do things with teammates of ours. That's part of the brand of QEW too. You have two great football organizations in the Argonauts and Ticats. Both Ty and I, our entire careers have been involved with those organizations on the QEW. Our brand's colors are a mix of the two teams. So it's supposed to represent the history between the Argonauts and Ticats. That's what I wanted this brand to articulate, or illustrate. And um, the event on the 25th we're doing with Nick Arbuckle and Jonathan Eduardo or Edward from our team. And we definitely want to involve Ticats for sure. Like definitely involve both organizations and the players that represent them. I might be a little bit biased right now and getting more Argos than Ticats, but I think over time we'll do a good job of representing both organizations.
Now, is it just for athletes that are in the GTA area and the Hamilton area, or somebody that's watching from Guelph who's interested in coming on to your camps? Can they come on too?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, not only do we have these big camps that I'm mentioning, but also, we have sessions every week, whether, usually 2 hours. This Sunday, we're doing a 1 hour session here in Hamilton. So those are just general, like, those are just for receiver specific workouts for kids if they want to work at their games. The camps are a little bit more broad. Uh, you know, but yeah, anybody can join. Our you can find QEW football on Instagram, or you can find Ty and I's profiles, and you'll find QEW on there. Um, and you just register and come sign up, and see if you like it, and and it's open to anybody.
When you were younger,
Uh-huh.
Dave, did you attend football camps yourself?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I think
How much how much of an impact did it have on your career?
massive. I tell kids all the time that ask me like, what can I do to try to get to the college level? And the first thing I tell them is that you need to go, especially once you get to like, I think when you're like before 15 years old, you go to the camps to develop as a player and work at your game, and like face good competition, and just like get yourself exposed to that stuff as a young kid. And then once you start getting to like 15, 16, 17, that's when you start getting worried about like recruiting and stuff. And you might go to these camps for more of that purpose. Um, but whether you're going there for developing your game or whether you're going there for recruiting, like they're phenomenal resources to use. They're usually 3, 4, 5 days of nothing but football, and the amount of growth you get as a player and as a person through those few days of work, like, is huge. And then also, like, once you start getting to the age of getting recruited, like, they're as good of a tool to getting a scholarship as any tool there is out there. There's nothing better than going out there and showing for 3, 4, 5 days in a row, the coaches that actually coach at university, how good of a player you are, and they're able to see what you can do on a daily basis. Um, so yeah, I went to them as a young kid, and I went to a ton of basketball camps, and those helped me develop as a basketball player. Like, I think they're extremely important for kids to go to for many, many reasons.
Dave, do you guys have a plan? You and Ty have a plan for a QEW football website at some point? I know you guys are on Instagram, but
Hmm.
any plans for a website as well?
Yeah, we're gonna continue to develop, everything, every platform for our business, and like I said, we just we're in the first month and a half of business, right now, and it's really the ground level beginning phases. So, right now it's just more about networking and getting sessions going, getting camps going, you know, um, getting our name and our brand out there to the people in the GTA and Niagara and just people in this Ontario area, trying to show people what we're providing for them. But yeah, as far as that, like we will definitely develop a website at some point and all sorts of things. I'm looking forward to seeing where we go as a business. 3, 5, 10 years from now.
Are you guys looking for volunteers to help out at these camps? And how many athletes are you looking to take in for the camp?
For the 23rd specifically.
Yes. Yeah.
We already have about 52 signups right now. And our max capacity is 80. But if we get to that 60, 70 range, we'd be very happy with that. Um, so um, sorry, what's the question, Chris?
If you guys are looking for volunteers to
Yeah,
help out
yeah.
with this.
Um, we for this camp we are locked and loaded, like ready to go. We got everything that we need for this camp, but definitely like going forward in the future, like especially when we start doing bigger and bigger camps, um, I think that if we're able to do 50 kids, in our second month of business, like that's pretty good. So, once we start getting to 70, 80, 100 plus kids, of course we're going to need more helping hands, and um, it's definitely something we will consider down the road.
Where can athletes, inspiring football players sign up online?
So like I say, you go to Instagram, you go to QEW football. Um, you can email us at qewfootball@gmail.com. You can reach out to Ty or myself personally, and we will get you all the information that you need in order to get involved.
Dave, what skills do you and Ty work the most on with these younger athletes? The skills. What skills are the most important to learn?
But I think one thing that we provide is high level fundamental teaching. I think not only have we played high level football, but who Ty and I are as like our personalities and the way that we go about our business on the field, we are very fundamentally sound and technical players. And we've trained the last 4 or 5 off seasons together, and that's what we do every time we're on the field together, is work our fundamentals and our technique. And I think that's something that we can provide to the kids in this area, that maybe not many people can, and not only being able to do it ourselves, but be able to properly teach it and, you know, get the kids to be able to apply it in their own games. So I think that's what we're going to be able to bring to the table for these kids.
Dave, as we wrap this up in a couple of minutes,
Yeah.
I told Chris I keep it 20 minutes, so I'm already 4 minutes over. So
You're fine, Chris. I
hopefully
got
Chris
time.
will forgive me. Okay.
I
Uh,
got time.
Okay. Hey, Dave. Overall thoughts on the 2025 season with the Argonauts. Obviously, team success wasn't there this year, but you had your probably your most productive year in the CFL. Can you just tell us a little bit about it? Like as an individual, your success, but the team, it just wasn't your year, and a lot of injuries and a lot of things that happened, and a lot of games that you guys could have won too.
Yeah, I mean, I think from an individual standpoint, 2025 was honestly a whirlwind, as much as it was for the team, just because, we had our daughter, 2 weeks before training camp started. So that was the whole season, in a lot of ways was a blur for me. Just constantly like going to work, trying to get home, then when I'm home, still focused on work, and then it's like we're traveling, and I gotta watch my film and take care of my body, and it's just like there's so much stuff to do, and there's so many things to focus on in such a short amount of time. In a lot of ways, the season was a blur, but I was proud to be able to play all 18 games and put up career numbers despite everything that was going on at home. And don't get me wrong, like it's been nothing but a blessing. This year was amazing, being able to be a dad and for the first time and play ball still, and have my little girl at the games, and like it was a beautiful thing. It's very difficult to navigate, so. Uh, I was happy to be able to have the year that I did from an individual standpoint, with becoming a first time dad for sure. As a team, like I said, it was a whirlwind. It got off to a slow start, and then we got that win streak right around Labor Day. And when we won that Labor Day game, I'm like, all right, here we go. Like we're about to make it happen. Like this is gonna be just like last year. And then we weren't able to keep that momentum going, and like you said, injuries, and is Chad coming back? Is Chad not coming back? You know, yeah, there was a lot going on. So, you know, um, at the end of the day, I think like there were a lot of guys who did the best that they could, and the leaders of the team tried their best to like keep the team together. And a lot of guys still had great years. Like you said, Nick had a great year.
Yeah.
Coxie had a great year before he got hurt. Seeing Jake,
He's
make
really
Jake,
developed. Jake is
yeah.
really developed. To me, he's one of you guys. I think your strongest asset on your team is your receiver core. You guys are all amazing receivers.
Oh, thank you, Chris. We appreciate that, and I think that's something we pride ourselves on as a group, is to be the most consistent, and to be able to provide that spark for the team. And I think as a receiver group, like we had a good year for sure, and um, you could see by the passing numbers, even though we might have not had been the best up front this past year, and then uh, all the things we had going against each other against us as a team. You could look at the numbers and be like, okay, that's a pretty good year despite everything that was going on. So you know, uh, yeah, I think as always in football, like there's a lot of things to be proud of. There's a lot of things to continue to work on, but yeah, it's one for the books for sure.
Thoughts on Nick Arbuckle? And obviously, when you came to the Argos in 2023, it was Chad Kelly. Did it take you a little bit of time to develop chemistry with Nick Arbuckle?
Not myself personally. I don't think. We had all of 2024. Even though Chad was playing, Nick was still. We were still practicing with Nick, and then obviously he came in for the Grey Cup, and we had that experience, and that brought a lot of chemistry, and then that whole next off season, we worked out, two, three, four times a week, um, and um, then we get to the season, and Nick's named the starter, and and then all these roster things happen, and then all of a sudden, Nick and I are roommates on the road, which, I never roomed with a quarterback before. So, we got very close over the year last year. And, I think the world of him. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great person, a girl dad. I look up to him in many ways on how he handles his personal life and his and the football side. At the same time. I think we have a good chemistry. But I think I pride myself on having chemistry with all my quarterbacks. I think you know Chad and I have good chemistry. Cam Dukes and I had a chemistry when he was here.
Yeah.
I think that's part of my job as a receiver is to, be a receiver that quarterbacks can trust and they can rely on and count on. So, that's something I pride myself on is, being able to be that type of guy for all my quarterbacks, no matter who's in there.
What's one word to describe yourself as a football player and teammate?
Consistent. Yeah. I mean, you can count on me to show up every day for work, every week in, week out. I'm ready to play. I'm ready to grind, ready to lay it all on the line for my team, ready to do whatever the team needs in order to get a win that week. Special teams, offense, don't matter. Uh, you know, I don't think you could ask anyone that I played with in the locker room or coaches wise that would say that they couldn't count on me or that I was inconsistent. So that's something I take pride on is consistency, and I think I'm a versatile player too. I can do a lot of things on the field despite my size. So that's the only reason that I feel like I've had this long of a career at this point is my consistency and my versatility.
There's two former NFL players that you remind me so much of, Wes Walker and Julian Edelman.
Oh, thanks, Chris. That's high praise. I
Honestly,
appreciate that.
honestly, they weren't the biggest dudes, but they knew how to. They had great football IQ, had good hands, and they were always in the right spot for their quarterbacks. And Edelman and Wes Walker had a lot to prove. And to me, you're very similar to those two guys. I've seen play many times in the NFL.
Yeah, they were unbelievable players and guys that I looked up to a lot. I think I play more like Wes Welker, and then like just kind of, But I always was a huge Edelman fan. There's a lot of things I've watched a ton of Edelman film over the years and like taken things from his game. And those are definitely guys I looked up to. So I appreciate the compliment for sure.
You're welcome. Is there a story behind the number 83?
No, they when I got to Hamilton, that was the number that they were gonna give me, and uh, I wasn't gonna argue with them. I just was happy to be there. So and then 83's. I also take pride in 83 because like you said, there's guys like Wes Welker, who wore it, and someone that I looked up to. But also, I think stereotypically 83 is kind of the number given to a guy that they don't think a ton of, and I think to be able to wear a number like that, that kind of has that stereotype behind it, and then to like make something out of your name, out of your career with that number, means something, and then the other thing too is, transitioning from Hamilton to Toronto, I was kind of saying to myself that like, if they give me another number, then I don't need to be 83 my whole career. But if they give me 83, then I'll just like, that's my number. That's my number for my whole career, no matter where I go going forward. So, 83 will be the number I wear for my entire CFL career for sure.
By the way, the number 83 is special for Toronto Argonaut fans and media. That was when the Argos won their first Grey Cup in 1983 since 1952. So
Oh wow.
1983 was the year they ended their 31-year cup drought is 83 with a win over BC 18-17.
That makes it even better then.
It's a great number, just like number 10. My all-time favorite Argonaut is Terry Greer. That's who I grew up with, and he
Okay.
wore number 10. So I always tell Enoch, and anyone that wears 10, Kevin Mattel,
Yeah.
number 10 is a very special number to me.
Okay. That's good to know.
Quick, Dave, just thoughts on resigning with the Argos in 2026, and how much do you enjoy playing for the organization and the Argonaut fans?
Well, obviously, I'm ecstatic that I'm back with the Argos. It's the place I want to be. Ideally for the rest of my career, and it's great for my family, great for myself. My wife is from this area. My whole mom's side of the family is in this area, so that from a personal standpoint, it's the best case scenario to be here with the Argos. And then dating back to the history I have now with the Argos in the last 3 years and all the success we've had, you know, um, it's definitely something that I'm proud to be a part of, and so happy to continue going forward with that, it's been nothing but a blast playing with the Argos. I think up until I became Argo, my football career had been very inconsistent when it comes to, I was either on a winning team, not playing very much, or doing well individually and not on a great team, and then to come to the Argos and immediately join that team in 2023 and be starting and making plays on a historically great team through the regular season. Like, that was a phenomenal experience. And then 2024 to win the Grey Cup, like, there was nothing like that. So, I'm excited to be able to get back to that path this year with this team, and then to get to play for Coach Miller is going to be a great experience. We have a great relationship that we've built over the last 3 years. Jim Barker is a big reason why I got drafted to Hamilton, so it's nice to be back with him. Quarterbacks are back. I'm so happy about that with Chad and Nick, and the receiving room. There's a bunch of guys back. I mean, Kadeem Carey's back as the running back coach. Like,
Awesome.
you know, so there's so many things to be excited about with this team, and to be back for this year. Even like what we're gonna go through as a team this year is exciting. Being on the road for the first 2 months of the season. Being in Guelph for 3 months. It's gonna be a heck of an experience, but I'm so happy to be doing it with this team for sure.
And with you guys being in Guelph, it's like 5 minutes from where I live, and it's really convenient for me. So I'm looking forward to training camp as well. Just
Oh,
wanted
cool.
to briefly ask you on Ryan Dinwiddie. Obviously, sports, professional football is a business. People, players, and coaches come and go. Just quick thoughts on Ryan Dinwiddie, and what does Mike Miller bring to this Argonaut team in 2026?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to RD, like, I have nothing but love and admiration. Like, you know, um, nobody wanted me in 2023, and I had to wait a whole month for a call. And Argos finally gave me a call, and as soon as I got here, I felt comfortable with RD, and he immediately saw the value that I bring, and found ways to get me involved offensively. And that meant a lot because up to that point in my career, I didn't have a lot of trust in what I could bring to the table from other coaches I had played for in the past. So it was nice to be with a coach that believed in my abilities. And then from then on, like, we had a close relationship, and it was nothing but a blast to play for him the last 3 years. Very different personality compared to the coaches I played for in the past, but in a refreshing way. He always let us be ourselves. And didn't put any pressure on us to act a certain way or be a certain way, and that was super refreshing for me. So I'm very grateful for my time to play with RD, and from a schematic and offensive and football standpoint, like, great mind. We scored a lot of points, did a lot of great things offensively over the 3 years I was here. So, I'm sure he's going to do great in Ottawa, and it's going to present a new challenge for us, going against him. But yeah, nothing but love and admiration for RD, and I hope things go well for him in Ottawa. Not too well, but go well. So, and then with Coach Miller, you got a guy who's just like a very solid, like great human being first and foremost, and someone that you can talk to, and feel like he's truly there for you, and will listen to you, and he's got your you know best interest in mind. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to have up his sleeve from an offensive standpoint. You know, we've had some great chats over this off season, and that's meant a lot to me as well. You know, whenever the head coach calls you personally, and has a talk with you, no matter what the prior relationship was, like that means a lot. So, I'm excited to see what he brings to the table as a head coach. It's going to be very interesting to see him in that position, but I'm sure he's going to do nothing but great things, and I'm excited to be a part of it. And I think we're heading in the right direction as an organization for sure with him as the head coach.
And bringing back Jim Barker and John Huffnagel, which I
Yeah.
was surprised he left Calgary. I think that's a great addition as well. There's a lot of positives for next year. And for Argo fans that are watching this show right now or listening to it, what would you tell them why they should believe in this team in 2026 and get season tickets at BMO Field?
Well, we'll get the season tickets at BMO because the stadium is going to be beautiful, and it's going to be a great experience, and perfect timing right in August for the CNE. And so there's that side of it. But when it comes to our team, I think, first of all, we got our leader back with Chad, and I think as far as there's so many new faces, and it's really feels like a fresh start, and that can always bring a lot of positivity, you know uh, and then I think, every time I see us re-signing who we're re-signing, I think we're bringing back the right people, and I think we've brought great coaches in as well. And then, like you said, like I've never been around Huffnagel, but I've heard nothing but great things.
Legend.
So I'm excited to get to know him, and yeah, it just seems like we're filling in the pieces with the right ones, and um, and then I think the dynamic of this season coming up with being on the road, and all the stuff that we're going to go through as a team this year, like it can really bring us closer together and lead to a better team. um, yeah, I think Argo fans should get those season tickets because we're gonna have a great team. We're gonna be ready to make a run at another cup, and um, it's gonna be a fun ride for sure.
And that's what I love about the CFL. You can have a down year, a disappointing year, but in the CFL, with the right draft, the right free agent movings, and the right management, you can change that around quickly. So there's no reason why the Argos cannot be a Grey Cup contender or win the Grey Cup in 2026. And the East, to me, is going to be even more competitive next year. Hamilton, obviously. I think Ottawa will be better with Ryan Dimwitty, and Montreal had a great year last year, and I think you guys are going to bounce back. So I think it's going to be a dogfight to come out of the East next year in 2026.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Like, I think when you look at it on paper, this will probably be the most complete the East has been since I've been in the league. I got into the league in 2019, and pretty much since then it's been, the West has been considered the better conference, and to have more of a difficult schedule playing against each other. But this year, like to your point, I think every team in the East is going to have a chance to win it and to compete for the Grey Cup. So yeah, it's going to be super exciting. There's not going to be one game on the schedule where you're like, all right, that's a win. So it's going to be and you saw it this past year. Like I think I think I saw that it was like the closest the standings have been in the league for many years. So, it was already happening this past year, and I think it's going to be even closer this next year. So, exciting for the fans, and it's gonna be fun.
We're lucky in Canada. We get the CFL and then the NFL at the same time as college football. So 9.5 out of 12 months, I've got the CFL, college football, both Canada, the US, and the NFL going on as well. And as we wrap this up, Dave, what are your predictions for this weekend's NFL games and Super Bowl 60?
Oh man, what do we got this weekend?
Buffalo, Denver, and San Francisco, Seattle on Saturday, and then New England, Houston on Sunday, and then Sunday night, the Rams and Bears.
I'm going the Bills because Josh Allen is Josh Allen. What was the second game on Saturday?
Seattle and San Francisco.
Oof. Where's it at?
It's in Seattle.
I'll go Seattle for that one. They're playing really good football right now. And then Sunday, you said,
Houston at New England.
oof, New
Houston's
England.
a hungry team though.
Yeah, that defense is unbelievable. But winning in New England at this time of the year,
It's hard.
whether it's Tom Brady or Drake May, that's a tough thing to do. And Houston's offense they're not doing enough for me to like feel confident they can go in there and win that game. So I'll go New England for that, and then I'm going
Bears and
LA.
Rams.
Yeah, I'm going Rams for sure.
Yeah.
That's the team. I bet on them to win the Super Bowl last year, so I'm definitely betting on them to win it this year. I'm a huge Matt Stafford fan, Devontae Adams, like that whole team. I just love watching that
They're
team.
stacked. They're
Yeah,
stacked. I was hoping for an Eagles-Rams rematch this year. Obviously, didn't happen.
yeah,
But I won't be shocked if Chicago upsets them. I don't know. Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson, they've got the city going. So the Rams should win this game, but I wouldn't be shocked if Chicago won. Same with San Francisco too. They're playing with house money here right now. All the
yeah,
pressure's on Seattle. So I wouldn't be shocked if there's a couple upsets this weekend, but I do disagree with you on one. I think Denver at home is a
yeah.
better football team than the Bills. But
Okay.
if Josh Allen goes Superman on you, then the
Yeah,
Bills do have a chance.
yeah, and that's kind of what I'm expecting is him to go Superman. So that would give us a Buffalo and New England or
AFC.
AFC. So I would go. Oof. Let's just skip the conference championship. I'm just gonna go a Buffalo versus LA Super Bowl.
I'm going to go with Denver and the Rams Super Bowl. Denver Rams.
Denver Rams.
I'm a big fan of
Yeah.
Sean Payton.
Okay. And either
So
way, I'm going Rams with the Super Bowl, and Matt Stafford retires off into the sunset with the Super Bowl.
I totally agree with you, Dave. And finally, where can our audience follow you on social media? And again, your QEW football camp for people who might be interested.
Yeah, so my personal is David underscore Unger on Instagram. That's really the only social media I'm on. And then QEW football on Instagram. So yeah, I'm only really on Instagram for socials. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
And if Chris is nice enough and you're able to come back on again, I would actually like to talk to you a little bit more about the changes coming to the CFL in 2026 and 2027 as well, coming from a player's perspective as well.
Yeah, no problem, Chris. I'm here, so you let me know.
Deal, and I'm looking forward to training camp in May. I can't come soon enough, and I want to say, hey, Dave, thank you so much for giving us almost an hour of your time, and to Chris Belnovich. And by the way, I have some news to share with you too. I've been doing this for 6 years, self-taught, like an undrafted rookie in undrafted player athlete. I managed to get a Super Bowl pass from the NFL for Super Bowl
Wow.
60. So I've had my setbacks, have been turned down and rejected, and I finally got accepted for a media pass for this year's Super Bowl in Santa Clara. So I tell people, whether you're an athlete or you're doing what I'm doing, never give up. Strong mindset.
Absolutely, you're speaking the truth, Chris. Congratulations on that. That's a good Super Bowl to be at too in Cali. So, yeah, no,
Well,
Good for
Well,
you.
thank you so much. And when I am in the States or I'm covering the NFL, I always bring up the CFL and how much the Toronto Argonauts and the Canadian Football League have given me opportunities doing this self-taught. So I never forget where I come from. And Dave, you're one of my favorite guys I like to talk to. Everybody, I like everybody, but I just really enjoy talking to you and covering the Toronto Argonauts. And I want to see you guys, even as media, got to be neutral, but I want to see you guys do as well as you can in 2026.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. That means a lot. And, I enjoyed getting to meet you this year in the locker room and getting to talk after the games. And, I really appreciate your support. We appreciate your support, as a team, as an organization. And, yeah, it means a lot. So appreciate you, Chris.
Thank you so much, Dave, and continued success. And we will send you a full video, audio, and I'll do some reels and clips too if you'd like to post this on your social media as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, you too.
All right, everybody. That wraps up season 12, episode 45, overall 650 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Automall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com. I have another announcement to make. The next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you and sponsored by barrycullen.com, is going to be on Monday, January 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern with my special guest, Esther Neves. Esther Neves, a stand-up comedian out of Los Angeles, California. So check out Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show this Monday, January 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 on the West Coast, with special guest Esther Neves, a stand-up comedian out of Los Angeles. And as we wrap up this show, guys, we've got NFL divisional games this weekend, and we've already heard Dave Ungerer's picks. I'm going with Denver over Buffalo. I'm going with Seattle over San Francisco, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Niners pull up the upset. And then I'm going with Houston in a bit of an upset over New England. And the Rams Bears, my head says the Rams, my heart says the Bears. I'm going to listen to my head in this case. So I'm going with Rams. So I've got Denver, Seattle, Houston, and the Rams winning this week as well. I'm really looking forward to these games. The Buffalo-Denver game is the first one up Saturday at 4:30, and then Seattle-San Francisco at 8 o'clock, and then Sunday, Houston-New England at 3 o'clock, and then the late game is the Rams and Chicago Bears on Sunday Night Football at 6:30 as well. And some NHL tonight. The Detroit Red Wings are back in action tonight, taking on the San Jose Sharks at Little Caesars Arena. And the Detroit Pistons got back on the winning ways with a 108-105 hard-fought win over the Phoenix Suns last night. So the Pistons are now 28-10 and first in the East. And as we wrap up this show, guys, again, you can follow my guest, David Ungerer, on all his social media platforms. He's on Instagram, David_Ungerer, and he also has a YouTube channel, David Ungerer too, if you want to check that out. And QEW Football is on Instagram. So if you want to follow QEW Football, they're on Instagram. And you can also follow David Ungerer and the Toronto Argonauts on their website, argonauts.ca. That's www.argonauts.ca. And if you're looking to get season tickets, go to argonauts.ca and click on season tickets as well. And the Argos will be back here in Guelph in May for training camp and a preseason game. And they will start their season on the road, as the World Cup of Soccer will be at BMO Field in June and July. So the Argos won't be back at BMO Field until August as well. So check out argonauts.ca, the official website of the Toronto Argonauts. And they're also on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. So if you're a fan of the CFL, fan of the Toronto Argonauts, check out their website and all their social media platforms as well. And as we wrap up this show, guys, Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership is your go-to service center this winter. A no charge, that's right, a no charge 12-volt battery test. Plus, you can get a $20 instant rebate if you need a new battery. located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. And again, Barry Cullen Chevrolet is the proud sponsor and advertiser of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, hosted by yours truly, Chris Palme. If you're a local business, you're in the Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge, Guelph area, or you're in Southern Ontario and you're looking to advertise your business and product on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, you can email me at cpalme19@gmail.com and or DM me on my social media pages. My prices are really reasonable and competitive compared to traditional radio. I am on 21 platforms and I have over 71 countries around the world listening to this show on my audio platforms. And I've reached over 10,000 plays on Spotify, and my YouTube channel is over 610,000 views. So I basically have a lot to offer, and my prices are really reasonable and fair. So if you're looking to advertise on live streaming talk shows such as this, or the Small Talk podcast, or the Argo Bounce podcast show, you can email me at cpalme19@gmail.com or DM me on my social media pages as well. And speaking of social media, I am also on cameo.com. If you'd like a personalized video message from yours truly, go to cameo.com, type in Chris Palme, and I look forward to doing your requests today. You can also follow me on Blue Sky Social. Blue Sky Socials is what Twitter X used to be, at Live with CDP19 on Blue Sky Social, and I do post a lot of content there as well. If you're looking to adopt a pet, check out the Cambridge District Humane Society, located at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. Telephone number 519-623-7722, extension 0, or visit their website, cambridgehumanesociety.org. All the animals and pets up for adoption, their information is on cambridgehumanesociety.org. And if you're looking to volunteer like I do twice a week, go to their website and click on the volunteer application form and fill it out as well. And I was there today walking dogs like Daisy and Christopher, who are up for adoption as well. And they do a really good, the staff and Michelle Glatley do a great job down there as well. And they still have some 2026 Cambridge District Humane Society calendars for sale for $10. The money goes back to the shelter, and you can pick up a calendar at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, right across from the Cambridge Center Mall. And finally, guys, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. And one of these days, I will be live streaming on TikTok as well. You can follow my website, beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. And speaking of TikTok, I am on TikTok at Chris Palme. Please follow, share, and like my content on TikTok at Chris Palme. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. If you're into webinars or live streaming, check out StreamYard.com. They have basic free plans, paid professional plans like I'm on. And if you're a business that does a lot of webinars or live streaming, go to StreamYard.com and contact our sales department for pricing. And yours truly has been with StreamYard now for 5 years, and I give them a big thumbs up. So check out StreamYard.com. Finally, guys, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. The audio version is on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, Tuned In, YouTube Music, and Good Pods. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share. Finally, guys, you can email the show Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show at cpalme19@gmail.com. Any comments, questions, suggestions, feedback would be greatly appreciated. And if you have an interesting story and query you'd like to share on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, you can email me at cpalme19@gmail.com or DM me on my social media pages if you're interested in coming on the show as a future guest. Finally, you guys can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, X, Threads, Instagram, LinkedIn, Blue Sky Social, everywhere except Snapchat. And remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Chris Palme live with CDP Talk Show. I want to say thank you to all my subscribers, and now I'm over 610,000 views on my YouTube channel and YouTube Shorts as well. And also, if you like to contribute to my YouTube channel in my media work and you really like my work I do, I am on PayPal at Chris Palme on PayPal. Or if you want to support me, book a video through cameo.com, and I will do pretty well anything on Cameo within reason as well. That is about it for tonight's show, guys. I want to say thank you to my special guest from the Toronto Argonauts, wide receiver number 83, David Ungerer, one of the good guys and hardest working players in the Canadian Football League, for coming on. And I want to say thank you to the manager of media communications for the Toronto Argonauts, Chris Belnovich, for giving me permission to interview David as well. The Toronto Argonauts are a first-class organization, and even being a media and / season ticket holder, I wish the team really continued success going into 2026 season. And I do feel the Argos will be a Grey Cup contender in 2026 as well. So that is about it. And speaking of the Argonauts, I'm hoping to bring back the Argo Bounce podcast show, a weekly show during the season for season 4. The last 3 years I've done it with Nick Small. So fingers crossed, Nick will be back with me again. We're going to start to show up the Argo Bounce podcast show season 4. We'll probably start it up at the end of May, beginning of June as well, if hopefully Nick can come back as well. And that is about it, guys. Again, this weekend I've got Denver winning, Seattle winning, Houston winning, and the Rams winning. So I've got Denver and Houston in the AFC Championship game, and the NFC Championship game, I have Seattle in the Rams as well. But don't be shocked if there's some upsets this weekend as well. And maybe, who knows, maybe the Bills will pull up an upset as well. And that is about it, guys. Again, my next live with CDP Sports Entertainment Talk Show, Monday, January 19th, 7 p.m. Eastern, was my special guest, first appearance on our show, Esther Navez, a stand-up comedian out of Los Angeles, California. She is originally from Detroit, Michigan. So we'll talk to her about going from Detroit to Los Angeles for a stand-up comedian career as well. And I am working on more shows for next week as well. I want to say thank you to everyone for watching this show tonight, live streaming, and also on my audio platforms as well. And thank you to David Unger from the Toronto Argonauts, Chris Belnovich, and of course to my sponsor and advertiser, Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership. I hope everybody has a great Friday night and enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the NFL games, and we'll see you back here Monday night at 7 p.m. for Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership and hosted by yours truly, Chris Palme. Have a good night, everybody, and thanks again for watching and listening to this show.